Okay guys, it is Monday, so you know what that means. Movie Monday with Brad. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Yeah. Okay, that was really bad and that's pretty unprofessional. So let's just get to it. I'm gonna pick up a random couple films that I've just watched in this past week, or maybe even last week. It's a 1985 Russian anti-war film, Come and See. This film is tremendous. I have this ranked as my number one best 80s film of all time. It is absolutely excellent. I got the Criterion when it came out around the end of June, and it just looks beautiful. It had a ton of special features, but most importantly, what I think this film has is the idea of using your imagination, picturing all these horrific acts, as there are horrific acts on screen, but it's not as bad as you would normally see in a film like Saving Private Ryan or Dunkirk or, Apocalypse Now, any of those kind of war films. But this film really is just a horror film in disguise, because there's so many moments where it's so subtle and you can see it on screen, but they don't tell you anything. They're not overly explain anything in this film, and let your imagination just creep and go into the darkest places of your mind. And there's some horrific moments that I just could not believe were just suggested and shown on screen. And what I love so much is that the aspect of showing it through this kid's perspective and how this really affects other people across the world, and not just necessarily the United States, but other people during that time. The production design is absolutely excellent. I thought it was literally filmed during that time. It looks so real. The cinematography is absolutely gorgeous. I love the way this film shot, and it is absolutely gorgeous, and the shots really capture all the emotion in all these scenes, and it is just so symmetrical and just works perfectly. So if you have not seen Come and See, I highly suggest that you watch it. It is absolutely phenomenal, and it is a true masterpiece that I would love to watch again. Next one is The King of Comedy. I cannot believe I had not seen this film, and I wish I did, because the Joker film from last year literally copied almost the whole story. Like, literally the whole concept of the story copied it. And there's some Joker, fan nerds that'll be like, well, they're paying respect to it. You're not paying respect to it when you copy King of Comedy, mix it with Taxi Driver, put Robert De Niro in your own film that has De Niro in both those films, and both films are directed by Scorsese. It doesn't do really anything different in the Joker film. I had to get that out of the way. But what I love so much about The King of Comedy is it's definitely a role that Robert De Niro has never really done before. He's not this macho, overconfident guy who, doesn't take crap from other people. He's Rupert Pupkin, and he's just like this guy who's kind of delusional, doesn't listen to anybody, and it was just such a different role than I've seen from him, and he was absolutely excellent. I love how, he's stalking this guy, wants to be like this comedian, Jerry Lewis, who is a real comedian in real life, and so I thought that was a really funny aspect, that the character's name is Jerry in the film, but it's actually played by Jerry Lewis, so that was a really good aspect. The pacing is excellent, the cinematography is awesome, it's nice and bright and colorful. I really enjoy the whole, cinematic aspect to it, and honestly, I just didn't want this movie to end. I could just watch so much of this film and of these characters, because they're so well written, they're so well developed, and you understand every character's motivations and you understand where it goes. It has a big message of just, having that fame, and, what does that fame cost you, and the idea of, people stalking you, want to be just like you, or trying to go ahead in society, being your own person, but not at the same time, and how we got to start from the bottom and raise ourselves up. And some people are just not willing to do that. They want to just steal someone's identity or just steal everybody's stuff so they can make it their own name, and that's not the way to do it. And I thought this film holds up extremely well. This movie came out in 1982 and was a box office flop, and this is one of Scorsese's best films. So hopefully when I go see the new Scorsese film next year, and I will have all the Scorsese films watched, and so I can make a really big video just ranking all his films, because he is probably one of my favorite directors of all time. Next film is Sunset Boulevard. This is a classic 1950s noir drama crime film that is just so enjoyable. And when I was watching it today, I was just like, I think I've seen this film before. And it turns out I actually saw this film at a TCM special event at my local movie theater, and I didn't realize it almost halfway through the movie, and I was like, wait a minute, I'm starting to remember all these scenes, and I'm like, this movie's so good, it's so enjoyable. I was like, there's something that I remembered about it. But I love that this movie really does hold up well, even though it's about, this, dying, silent film star who just can't get into any other films because she's just so entranced into the silent films, and the film industry has already moved past that, and you have a struggling writer as they team up together. I think you can literally remake this film and just keep those same aspects but just change them to modern stuff, and the movie's still gonna work so well, because the whole idea about struggling and keeping to your past and not wanting to move forward as time change is just a universal concept that everybody knows and couldn't just be replicated in any other film. I mean, the direction of it is absolutely fantastic. There's no filler whatsoever in the film. The writing is spectacular, and I love how there's so many aspects that they criticize, the modern films of that time. And one of the main characters is reading a script, and he's like, there's too many melodramatic moments, you repeat yourself too much, and this exact film doesn't have any of that, and I thought that was just truly a cool thing to watch. The performances are excellent, and I really enjoy this story overall, and it feels like it has, an A, B, and C, and just flows perfectly throughout. So if you have not seen Sunset Boulevard, it is a classic film, and I highly recommend that you guys watch it. Next film on this list is Being John Malkovich. This is directed by Spike Jonze and is written by Charlie Kaufman. It is on Netflix currently at this time, and it is excellent. It's like this fantasy comedy drama that is so good. It stars John Cusack, whatever, Cameron Diaz. I mean, I didn't even recognize it was Cameron Diaz, and so I saw the credits, and I was like, wow, she is so good in this film. And it stars John Malkovich. Yeah, he's a real person. I didn't even know that. So I thought that was kind of funny when I looked it up after the film. Like, this guy's pretty legit. I thought it was like a fake actor name, but it made it all more funny. It has this really weird concept you kind of have to get on board with. I mean, it is a Spike Jonze film, and it's written by Charlie Kaufman, so they make these very strange relationship, personal identity, and how we view these philosophical concepts in the world, and I think, it's something that you have to get on board with for sure. And I really enjoyed it. There's some really, really funny moments. The acting is just phenomenal. I love the way it's directed. And this was a debut for both these two. And they got a Best Director nomination, Best Screenplay nomination, Best Supporting Actress nomination. This film was a box office hit. And it's cool to see that people at this time were watching this film. Because I was watching, it's like, I don't know how people would have responded seeing this film. But it's just really excellent, and I don't really want to get too much into the story because it will really over-explain, because I had no idea what was happening in the beginning of the film, but then it just, worked itself out, and I thought it was excellent. So just go into it blind, and I think you're going to really enjoy it, so definitely gotta check out that film. The last film we're going to talk about on this list is Animal Crackers. This was a 2017 American-Chinese film that was released on Netflix just a couple weeks ago, because Netflix bought the distribution rights for it, and this movie stinks. It sucks. It's pretty awful. The only reason why I watched it is because it had big names in it, like John Krasinski, Emily Blunt, Danny DeVito, Sylvester Stallone, Ian McKellen. Sir Ian McKellen, I'm sorry. I gotta pay respect to you because you're amazing. I watched it with my little brother because it kind of gave me an excuse to watch it, and I just didn't like it at all. And it was more than just being generic. It was so boring, it was so repetitive, and it went exactly the way it was going to go, and it didn't leave any surprises whatsoever. I thought the animation was really terrible, and it was just really distracting to the whole film. There's only one moment that I actually liked, and that's why it's getting a 2. There's like this Don't Stop Me Now by Queen segment that I actually thought was kind of colorful and creative and just kind of just spontaneous, and I was actually really enjoying what I was seeing on screen and listening to the music, because that song is fire. But overall, I don't understand why they didn't have any of those other moments throughout the film, because it's just so bland and it doesn't have anything that would stand out to any other film. So I can understand why it took so long for someone to pick up this film, because they're like, this movie sucks, we're not gonna pick this up. And the biggest thing is I don't know how they got these big names on here, and I don't know how it's number 10 on Netflix for movies right now. I don't understand that. This movie sucks. That's it for my Movie Monday. I hope this was a really enjoyable segment for you guys. And, you know, just to talk about some movies that I've seen that I wouldn't do normal reviews for. These are probably like just small reviews anyways, because I just love the talk. So if you enjoyed this video, please like and share the video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. The people who have subscribed, you guys have been amazing, and I'll keep saying that every single time because you guys are amazing. If you really enjoyed this video, I'll see you guys next one.